I have a confession. I'm not the best programmer, but I am a pretty good software engineer and entrepreneur for having built a 7-figure B2B consulting firm after leaving my 9 to 5. For years, I thought success in software engineering meant being the best programmer. But I wasn't winning any hackathons, crushing any coding competitions. In fact, it was the exact opposite. I remember having imposter syndrome. I remember struggling with lead code and questioning if I even belonged in the industry in the first place. But here's the thing, success isn't about being the best programmer. It's about something much bigger. And this realization changed everything in my life. Today, I'll walk you through how I went from being an okay programmer to building a 7-figure thriving business, and how you can do the same exact thing no matter where you are in your career. But before we dive in, you're probably wondering, okay, what were you doing before all this? I was a software engineering consultant for Fortune 500 companies like Amazon, LinkedIn, and Verizon, to name a few. And I know it sounds impressive, but even then, I wasn't the best programmer. So how did I go from that to now making over $100,000 in the last week alone? To understand that, we have to start with the first key lesson that I learned. Think of programming as a screwdriver. Sure, a screwdriver is useful, but owning the best screwdriver doesn't mean you'll build the best house. It's how you use the screwdriver that matters. And it's the same with programming. Early in my career, I spent so much time worrying about mastering algorithms, solving lead code problems, and just trying to be the most skilled programmer in every room I was in. But over time, I realized something important. The real value doesn't come from being the best at programming. It actually comes from using those programming skills to solve real problems. Once I shifted my mindset from being the best programmer to thinking how to actually apply my skills in ways that actually made a difference for businesses, that is when everything changed. Mastery isn't about the tool. It's about how you use it to create value. Now, solving problems with your programming knowledge is critical, but there's another skill that will actually make you even more valuable, and it has nothing to do with your technical skills. Imagine that you're building a bridge. Programming is like the steel framework, but without the bolts and cables holding everything, the bridge would obviously collapse. And in your career, those bolts and cables are your soft skills, primarily your communication skills. In the software space, we tend to focus so much on the technical side, but here's the truth. Being able to communicate effectively with clients, lead a team, and understand the bigger business picture will make you far more valuable than just writing perfect code. I learned this when working with Fortune 500 clients. Being the one who could actually translate technical work into business value made me irreplaceable. And it's actually what led me to my $250,000 salary. And it wasn't about how perfect my code was. It was all about how I used my own skills to get results. In tech, it's not just what you build, but rather it's how you connect all the pieces together. And sure, while soft skills gave me an edge, they weren't the real turning point. What truly transformed my career was a mindset shift that I didn't even realize I needed at the time. For years, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I focused on hitting deadlines, doing the tasks assigned to me, and working towards promotions. But here's the problem. I was so focused on fitting into the role that I never stopped to think about what was possible beyond it. It's like playing chess as a pawn. You're moving where someone else tells you. But when I quit my job and started thinking like an entrepreneur, everything changed. I wasn't just a piece on the board anymore. I became the player, making moves with intention, focusing on the bigger picture. As an employee, I was simply completing tasks. I was an executioner of tasks. As an entrepreneur, I began solving bigger problems and delivering long-term value for my clients. That shift from doing what was asked to creating solutions that actually mattered was the key to building my 7-figure business. Of course, this mindset shift didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of trial and error, and trust me, a lot of failure. And to be honest, I've had more failures than I can really count. Failed ventures, lost money, countless other setbacks, and the list goes on. And at first, I saw failures as something to avoid, something that meant I simply wasn't good enough. But then I realized something. Failures aren't a bug in this game called life, but rather a feature. Think of failure like climbing a mountain. Every time you slip, you learn a little more about how to climb better the next time. Each failure teaches you something you couldn't have learned any other way. And the moment I stopped being afraid of failure and started embracing it, I became unstoppable. That's when the real breakthrough started happening in my career. And success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning and adjusting every time that you fail. So if you're feeling like you're not the best programmer, don't worry. You don't need to be. Remember, programming is just a tool, and how you use that tool is a lot more important than the tool itself. What really makes the difference are your soft skills and shifting from an employee mindset to thinking like an entrepreneur. And if you're actually serious about building something meaningful and taking control of your future, then this next video will show you exactly how to start. As always, thank you for watching and have a good one.